48-6 victory over Northgate back in Week 9 of the 2021 season. Now the Lions, they're led by 6 returning starters. Quarterback Brian Taylor, running backs Deontay Moore, Nazir Humphreys, and wideouts Mike Vion and Gary Pugh Jr. For the Rams, it's quarterback Jaden Norman, running back Antonio Laurie, wide receiver Dom Guido and Michael Norman and Nehemiah Haskins. The Lions, 3 WPIAL titles, last made it to the playoffs back in 2021. They're trying to find their footing and get back to their winning ways. The Rams are just looking to stay healthy and extend their playoff run and make it to the 1A final at Acrisure Stadium. Can the Lions get their first win in the Coach Tony Coulteri era? Can the Rams stay healthy and make another big playoff run? It's 1A versus 2A in their final non-conference game of the season. Pre-game is 6:30. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Other games around the county include Aliquippa at North Catholic, Ambridge at Neshannock, Beaver area at Freedom. Beaver Falls plays host to Knock. Blackhawk travels to Mars. Central Valley, they get their first home game of the season when they host Hampton at 7 on Friday. Cornell, they're at Union. Elwood City is hosting Carrollton. Hopewell invites Western Beaver to town. Moon area is in Mount Lebanon. Our Lady of Sacred Heart, they're on the road this weekend. They travel to Clairton. Quaker Valley hosts Freeport. Riverside is at Shenango. Southside hosts Burgettstown. And finally, West Allegheny has Ringgold visit. But this Friday, it's Lions-Rams. Pre-game, 6:30. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. Listed on 99.3 FM and 1230 AM WBVP, 95.7 FM and 1460 AM WMBA, and you can watch the game live on Facebook. Join me, Robert Mangino, along with Eddie Crow in the booth and Mike Azadian on the sidelines. The best of Beaver County football is heard right here on Beaver County Radio.
And this preview of Week 2 high school football action is brought to you by your local McDonald's. The local McDonald's restaurants are proud to be partners with Beaver County Radio in sponsoring Beaver County high school football games all season long. Stop in to any of the local McDonald's restaurants for everyday value items like 2 for $3 mix and match, sausage burritos, sausage McMuffin, and hash browns. Don't forget to download the app for extra special savings. Looking for a great part-time job? Text McHire.com today to apply. Good luck to all the Beaver County football teams this season from your local McDonald's restaurants. I'm loving it. And that is sports for now. Time to return to the live mic with Mike Romai here on Beaver County Radio.
Welcome to Live Mike with Mike Romai, presented by Heritage Valley Health System, the show that talks about what's happening in Beaver County, along with news and weather with Curtis Walsh and sports with Matt Durzick. And now, here is the host of the show, Mike Romai.
Well, if you sent your children to college for the first time this year, you were probably in for some sort of shock by the cost of an education in the United States anymore. And we often hear about students who are paying off their student loan debts well into their 40s to pay for because those education bills are so high. Geneva College has just come out with a Geneva tuition promise that ensures all eligible Pennsylvania students from families with incomes of less than $70,000 annually will pay no undergraduate tuition at Geneva, starting with the incoming class in the fall of 2024. And joining us to tell us all about it is Willem de Ruijter and Tara Verrico from Geneva. Good morning and welcome to both of you.
Good morning.
Morning. Great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here and talk about this program. Geneva is a big part of Beaver County, has been, and it continues to grow throughout the community. They do wonderful things in Beaver Falls, but they attract students from all over the world, which is wonderful. Where did this tuition promise program come from?
Yeah, great question. As you said, we're happy to be in Beaver County. We've been here since 1880, and this is a big year for financial aid in the country at the federal level, and Tara can speak to that a bit more, but there's some changes with regards to the FAFSA application and time in, and that required us to look at our practices, our financial aid policies. How much does it cost for students to attend Geneva? And after some good work and thought and running the numbers, we're aware that Geneva has been an affordable school comparative to a lot of others, but we wanted to kind of double down on that and communicate how affordable Geneva is. And so from that came the tuition promise.
Tara, as far as education and the cost of education over the years, and it seems to be ever increasing, where does that come from, and how do schools of higher learning justify the cost? Maybe you can't answer that aspect of the program, the question, but as far as education and the cost, it is really beyond a lot of people's reach.
Right. So I think since the Higher Education Act in the 60s, you've seen a lot of colleges open their doors to a vast amount of students. I mean, it used to be more of the wealthy would attend college, but with the implementation of federal aid programs, you had more ability and more people attending college. And so the doors open. And so I think since then, the cost of education has just increased. Now, a lot of schools have supplemented that with a lot of scholarships that you've seen more in the last 30 years. And so there's been a little bit of a balance, but there's still the weight of the cost that is really an issue. And so, the FAFSA changes that are occurring this upcoming FAFSA cycle, so for the 24-25 year, the federal government is trying to identify more effectively the students who are in those pockets of high need. You had 108 questions on the FAFSA, and now they're going down to 36. But the need analysis to determine federal Pell Grants is becoming more effective to determine those high-need families.
Mm-hmm. And Geneva has been very successful in turning out successful students and getting into business or work. I see statistics that say after graduation, over 93% of your students are either in positions of employment or on to graduate schools. So that's a pretty impressive statistic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we're thinking about is that we know the outcomes of a Geneva education are good, but we know that the cost, or the at least understanding the cost of college, can be overwhelming. And there's just a lot of families, and we've had numerous people call and email us in the last couple of days saying, we did not think we could go to college. Mm-hmm. This changes everything. And so the big thing is that people are self-selecting themselves out of going to college. And that's not right.
Yeah.
Because there are people that are coming from lower or lower middle income families that are so well equipped to succeed in college and would benefit from it. And so we want those outcomes that are great to be available to everybody in Pennsylvania, regardless of income level.
Yeah. I grew up in Beaver Falls, so I've known the college there forever. It's always been there on the hill. Gone through changes, and many significant changes over the years. But also in recent years, I've been surprised at the many people that I've had on the show who talk about people who are in the upper levels of business, people who have done great things in the community, who graduated from Geneva that I didn't even know. I said, Geneva? Really? You went to Geneva? Yeah, and those people went? Yeah. So it's been tradition.
Well, I mean, a big story around this area of the state, of course, is the Pittsburgh Airport redevelopment, and the chief development officer for that is a double graduate of Geneva, both in engineering and an MBA. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we have our graduates going all over the place. And one of the things, and we were talking to some Beaver County leaders about this, is the tuition promise will, A, help students in Beaver County, from Beaver County, to stay in Beaver County. It will also attract students from the rest of the state to come here and see how great this part of Western Pennsylvania is.
In terms of dollars and cents, what would this mean to an incoming freshman?
Yeah, so an incoming freshman will have their Pell and state grants apply towards tuition, and we will fulfill the gap that exists with the amount that they would owe for tuition without, once their state and federal grants apply to the to the bill. So they will be responsible for fees and if they want to live on campus for room and board. However, this is an amazing financial aid model that, you don't see elsewhere. And we have the ability for education to be within reach for families. And so it's an amazing opportunity that a lot of students can take advantage of, whether they're commuting or on campus.
From the press release on the topic of the Geneva Tuition Promise, it says, beginning in the fall of 2024, the highest achieving academic students can receive up to $20,000 annually, totaling $80,000 over 4 years, an aid increase of over 14% towards the completion of their Geneva degree. That's a phenomenal amount of money. That would go a long way in getting someone's children to go to college at Geneva.
Yeah, and so the Geneva Tuition Promise is one part of the aid changes we've made, where we make that commitment to cover the gap, as Tara just said. But we are and we want to continue to be an affordable option for any student. So some of the changes you just talked about, an increase in our academic awards and things like that. We just want to be clear and upfront with people. This is what you should expect. This is what the cost is going to be. And yeah, $80,000 over 4 years. There's still a cost to college.
Oh, sure.
College will cost money. It will continue to cost money. But all of a sudden, the numbers that are left seem manageable and understandable. And we want to help you kind of navigate that.
Well, you were both students at Geneva at one point, right?
I was a student at Geneva.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. A graduate program.
The cafeteria must have pretty good food there, because as I'm traveling up Route 18 up to College Hill, I always see students walking to and from the cafeteria over there.
Yeah, Chef Tom does great work. He used to work at Shakespeare's, and a few years ago, our Chef Tom asked our CFO if we could buy him a smoker. And so we've got some of the best smoked meats for lunch and breakfast and dinner, and he does very good work.
Yeah, and so as far as Pell Grants are concerned, it's something, we're just getting underway with the 2023 school year for a lot of high school seniors. Now's the time that they should start looking in advance for openings on different campuses. So who do they call at Geneva about all this?
Yeah, the easiest thing to do is just to go on Geneva's website, and they can look for the phone number to give a call, fill in a form right there on the website, and we will reach out to them. Or if they have a question, they can email us at admissions@geneva.edu.
Yeah. Now, and, there are so-called, you have your traditional students and you have non-traditional students. And so there are cars lined up the hill all the time, all hours of the day, because you have classes that are going on in the evening for non-traditional students. Are they invited? Are they involved with this program as well?
This program is for our traditional undergraduate program. But you're right. Our non-traditional programs, we have online degree programs as well as graduate programs that run throughout the year, and some of those in the evening. Absolutely.
Yeah. Were you hearing from parents, perhaps, of students who are incoming, talking about the high cost of education as a way to spur this conversation on to come up with this program?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really came down to our conversations with families or our admissions team who's out on the road talking to high school students who don't even think of Geneva because they look at the price tag and say, I'm just going to roll them out automatically. But they don't realize that before the tuition promise, we had an excellent financial aid model, that really, it worked in a similar manner that the tuition promise does, but people aren't aware of it. And so we wanted to make sure people know about it, and that it's a good model and it also is within reach for other families, and that we extended it to a higher income than maybe we thought would be possible, but it is possible for us, and we're excited for the opportunity.
And so you reach out into the community. You're doing this media blast right now, but it's something that parents should be aware of going into the school year.
Yeah, absolutely. And throughout the fall, we'll be in many of the high schools in Western Pennsylvania and Christian college fairs in the area, wherever that might be. And one of the things that whenever we encounter a student with their family, with parents, one of the first questions, what's your cost? What's your cost? What's your cost?
Yeah.
and it's such a nuanced conversation. It's a personal conversation. Public setting is not the best place to do it. And so one of the ways that the Geneva Tuition Promise helps is we can be very upfront about what the cost will be. So, so we're out and about, like as you said, doing some media stuff, but we will be traveling to schools, school boards, community organizations, local fairs. We'll be at some of the fall fairs as well, just to tell people about the good news of the Tuition Promise.
So more or less a recruitment drive that you're on.
Oh, absolutely.
To
And let's be honest. And the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette had a neat quote from an economist saying, "This is the kind of initiative that benefits the college. It will benefit us. Absolutely. It will bring more students to Geneva, and we're very thankful about it. But it will also and equally benefit the students and their families." And that's a win-win, and we're very excited about that.
Would it roll students out if they were getting scholarships as well?
So if they do have external scholarships or other things, those can still be applied to room or board or other costs. Yeah.
And the programs, the degrees that Geneva offers, is there something out there for everyone? I know a lot of engineers come from Geneva.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. There's something out there for everyone. We partner with CCBC on a nursing program, engineering, you already mentioned, business, communication. We just launched a few new programs such as user experience, game development, and public health. Yes, there's something there for everyone.
And Eugene DeMarco and Golden Tornadoes, of course, are a big draw for a lot of local athletes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so many things happening on campus. What more can you tell us about this program for our audience to be able to participate or at least inquire about?
Sure. So they can go to our website and see more information. They would need to apply for admission by March 1st, as well as complete their FAFSA. The FAFSA is delayed opening. It normally was October 1st for an open date, but we've been told by the government December so that they have adequate time to prepare. So FAFSA application by March 1st, and we will look at all the details, and if they're eligible, they will automatically receive the tuition promise.
And this is throughout Pennsylvania.
Anybody, anywhere in Pennsylvania. They do have to have residency in Pennsylvania. So we've had some people inquire whether they can move from Ohio today and get it, and unfortunately that won't work.
But what you're saying, Tara, is look into it now.
Yes.
Contact the college, get some of the paperwork, some of the brochures, the pamphlets out there to see if this is a good fit for you.
Yeah, and we really want students to visit our campus too. And I think they'll see that we have a beautiful campus. We have an amazing environment, and our community is really strong. And I think once they visit campus, they'll realize this is an amazing opportunity for them to pursue their education.
Yeah, I think there was a soccer game there this past weekend. There were people on the softball court as well, softball field. And then I think Geneva was preparing for their first home game last weekend as well. So a lot of activity going on there.
I mean, for people like Tara and I, there's nothing like a college in the fall. It is one of the most beautiful things as students come back on campus, and freshmen take a little longer to get to the food line than everybody else because they haven't navigated it before, and teams play their first games. It's a wonderful place to be. But ultimately, it's the learning, right? And we know that these years prepare students for service across their lifespan. It's not just for a first job.
Yeah.
We sometimes, especially in the current moment, we think, hey, it gets you a first job, good. There's other ways to get a first job, but it will help you with your second, your third job. It will help you outside of your job and all that you do.
And I know that Geneva is having their homecoming parade coming up. You talk about fall and college campuses. They're doing their homecoming parade, I think, the first week of October.
You've got it. And it's not just our homecoming parade. It's our 175th anniversary.
Wow.
So it's a big deal. And everything's going to be a little bit bigger and better. And Friday night, after the women's soccer game, we will have community fireworks as well, right above.
No way.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, we got to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what's really cool about it is, you go to all the other college campuses. I know my daughter went to Allegheny, so we've been up in Allegheny. I know Geneva's playing Allegheny this weekend up in Meadville. And you go over the years, you go through some of the other college towns, what would be considered college towns. Geneva's always been in Beaver Falls over 100 years, and up until maybe the last 10 years, it was never considered a college town. It was a mill town. We had a lot of industry here. But now they've made that transition. They're more incorporated in the community. They're doing more things. And with the parade, you're talking about fireworks for the entire community to enjoy, and just the development and the growth of Geneva. I think as you're going up and down College Hill, and I know a lot of the students living off campus in the town, downtown, down on 8th Street and places like that where you have different buildings. So it truly has become embracing. There's a mutual embracement between the city and the college over the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I would agree. And Calvin Traup's leadership, our president, in the last couple of years on that is a big part. But it's people at the city of Beaver Falls, people in the community. If we are not for the good of our local city, right? If we're not wanting to see our local city prosper and flourish, then what are we doing here? We might as well be somewhere else, right? And we are so thankful to be in Beaver Falls and to have been in Beaver Falls for over 140 years.
Yeah. The Geneva Tuition Promise program is what we've been talking about with Willem de Ruijter and Tara Verrico. And once again, this is for families with incomes less than $70,000 would be eligible, all Pennsylvania students. And in closing, what more can you tell us? Just to apply.
Right. Go to the website, apply, request information, and visit campus and see what an opportunity lies ahead of families. And, we're welcome to answer questions, and we have a really great team, and we're excited to see next year how this goes for us.
And I know there's a big county band festival going on the 16th at Reeves Stadium. So you're going to get all those high school students and parents in there at that time.
Absolutely.
Recruit, right?
Well, invite them in and get them to see it with their own eyes. And I think the community and the learning will speak for itself.
Very special. And thank you for being here. Willem, Tara, thank you for coming in to talk with us. Once again, the website where people can obtain the information and get the pamphlets mailed to them?
Geneva.edu/promise.
Simple enough. Thank you both for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA.
Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company are teaming up to present Cruisin' on the Ridge, a series of car cruises during our 75th summer celebration that will be held the third Saturday of every month from 12 to 5 p.m. at the new Beaver County